Unboxing of Altras.
Well, they're already unboxed.
Well, I'm here with Coach Karlee, and we got some brand new Altras. These are Torin 5s. We both got the Torin 5, not the Torin 6 is the new one.
I can't pass up a discount.
Ooh, I like that view. We both left our running shoes. Well, I left mine in Europe, she left hers in California. So we needed some new running shoes, and I've had Altras before. I liked them. And I think also one of the reasons we got these shoes is because we used to rock Asics when we were running, and every single time we posted a video, everyone was like, why don't you do barefoot shoes? I don't want. It was kind of getting annoying. Well, I am still green to the running scene. I do not have nearly as many miles as Karlee does. She is an avid runner cross country and has put a lot of miles in.
Back in my day.
Back in the
day.
Did you always run in Asics? And
growing up, most common running shoes for long distance running tend to be Asics, Brooks, Sauconys, and Nike came into the scene, of course, as the most dominant shoe in the sports industry. But we're excited to try these because I've had clients who have recommended the Altras more on a trail shoe basis, but now they have pretty cool running shoes and the toe box is nice and wide. So my mom switched over to these and already notices a big difference in how she lands in her foot striking. Just gives us a lot of room to breathe with our toes. So these are going to be fun to play in, to move in, to walk, to run, all the things. So.
Yeah, if you don't know, Altra is always going to have this zero drop, unlike most other running shoes, where the heel to the toe, there's no difference change. There's no elevation of the heel. So it's zero drop, and then they have the wide toe box. So those are the two things that kind of make the Altra a little bit different, more just letting your foot be on a nice base ground. We do a lot of training barefoot, which is really important, and that heel is going to elevate, make that Achilles and that whole back chain length just a little bit shorter. So training, ideally, theoretically, on a zero drop is going to be better for us, so that when you take your shoes off, you're not going to be now at a deficit. That's the big problem when you're wearing, let's say, heels all the time at work, or you're running all the time with a heel elevation. It's that when you take those shoes off, all of your tissue has gotten used to this certain length, and now when you're without it, it's like longer. So if you are somebody that wears heels and then you take your shoes off and you find your feet cramping, you find your calves getting super tight and you want to be back in shoes, that's one of the reasons why. So slowly making your way to where your heel is on the ground and the length of your backside is comfortable being there, I think is really important. So, so that we can kind of just run and live our lives pretty naturally in that type of way.
Yeah, we do, like you said, work out in either barefoot or in more minimal shoes, but because the road is not a natural setting, it's a lot of hard surface, it is okay and good to have cushion and support so you can participate in farther distances, whether it's walking or running.
Yeah.
So these are going to be fun.
So we'll try out these Altras today. We'll do some training in them, do some running on them. We'll see how much we can get, and then we will keep you updated. But these are the Altra Torin 5s. Sheesh.
All right, team, for today's workout, we're gonna be hitting 3 great blocks of work. In block number 1, you're gonna hit inertia waves, supersetting that with plate side bends. You'll hit 3 rounds, 1 minute each. In block number 2, you're gonna be doing some drop-in variations. So we'll start off with 30 seconds of drop-ins, moving into 30 seconds of tracers, and finishing with 30 seconds of scorpion drop-ins. You'll hit 3 rounds on each leg, and for our final block of work, you're gonna put all this into practice and take it out for a 1 to 3 mile run. Get after it.
Okay, here's some bonus movements for you. This is part of the Scorpion series. And the Scorpion series, what it's really good at is kind of taking one side, big corner, big internal rotation, and connecting the toe all the way up the back line to the pinky of the same side. So connecting one side pinky to one side pinky, really important. For the upper body, it's really common for the shoulder to get dumped forward and down. So finding this shoulder not only to slot back, everyone talks about the slot back, but even this shoulder blade to almost come down into this pocket. That's really important when we're talking about running, not just to go here, but to be able to, if you need to, for this shoulder blade to come all the way down and back here. So this is kind of a scorpion press. If you don't have the mobility, if this feels super tight to you, this probably isn't going to be for you. It's a little bit advanced, but it's an option for you if you want to juice the shoulder into the back space. So you're going to get a light weight, a kettlebell or a dumbbell. This is 15 pounds. I wouldn't really recommend going heavier than that. Even 5 pounds is really good. We're just using this to assist our shoulder to kind of get into that deepest slot position. We're going to start on our backs. Press the weight up. Keep it pressed and extended. Same side leg is going to extend up into the air and crisscross over. As it's coming over, make sure you hit that corner position. That corner position automatically is going to make this shoulder start to squeeze down. This is what we're looking for. So I'm going to corner as much as I can. It'd be nice if you get your hips parallel to the floor. This is up. Notice how my same side shoulder is going to be stacked over the ground resting one. And then I'm going to let this elbow come down. And I'm looking for this elbow to reach into that same side pocket, back pocket of the cheek that it's on. As it comes down, it rotates open and then presses, comes open. My head stays relaxed, so I'm not using my neck to do any of this. Open and press. Open and press. Open and press. These are scorpion presses, just so you can see what this position is from this type of work. All this type of work. It's just part of our rolling series. Big rolling series, connecting our shoulder to our leg. Scorpion press. Woo. Okay, so we just got back from workout and run. We did a little stress test in the garage gym with a little bit of drop and work and some training. And then we went on a run. It was just a quick 2-mile run. Karlee took it for an extra mile, and I got the camera to follow so you could see her running form. But I am very impressed with the shoes.
It was a good change up. I think I've committed to making the switch for the long haul. And I know the difference that I felt in my running is just compared to shoes that have that higher drop, I really feel like I'm normally on my tippy toes. It's harder to feel the sensation of collapsing in, and I only feel it when I review back tape that when I film myself running. I mean, I don't feel it in my ankles, but I feel it later in other parts of my body in a negative way. But with these, I could really feel the ground with my entire mid-front part of my foot to the outside, favoring the outside edge versus any collapsing inside. And I could really feel that traction to the ground and that pulling with every single stride. And then after, I feel really, really good in my body right now.
For those of you who are a little bit new to what we do and what we care about when we're looking at running, we really care about the foot action and what's happening at the foot and ankle level to see if there's any kind of collapse. We want to avoid a knee valgus, and we want to load our hips in the backside of our body to propel us forward as much as possible. And that all happens from a strong foot foundation. So when I was first changing how I was running and really started to get into a lot of miles, Asics were the shoe that had enough arch support and structure that helped me stay really strong in my feet. Mm-hmm. And I started to get into some Altras, but these feel like they have just enough room, just enough support, and this zero drop that makes it really easy Karlee's always saying that I look like a little prancy, like I'm like on my tippy toes, like, and I felt like I didn't need to be on my tippy toes to find a strong foot base. I felt like it was kind of just easy to find that, and I was just like kind of like on the road going.
Did not have to break them in. Felt very comfortable right off the bat. Toes felt like they could breathe. Like even now, still being in them, they feel easy to breathe in. I normally, when I'm done with some kind of training or run specifically, I'm ready to, okay, like I need to get my feet out of these. But these feel really nice, lot of space to move in. It might take a time period to adjust to shoes like this, depending on what your footwork is like right now. If you are a really big collapser, if you do a lot of heel striking, sometimes people do make the mistake of thinking, oh, well, I need a wider toe box, I need to have a 0 drop, and they go from 0 to 100. And that can cause an issue too if you haven't built up a base or trained your foot strength in an optimal way just yet. So best thing to do is assess your movement, assess your run with a coach, or even a self-assessment can be helpful. Film yourself running and see where your limitations are. But yeah, I'm transitioning from, okay, maybe an ASIC, classic running shoe, then into something like a running shoe that's Altra, and then working your way to more minimalist shoes in your everyday life, like Vivos, like the Zeros. There's a lot of brands now that are out there, but it takes, you have to build a good base first, just like with anything.
Right.
So
you touched on it a little bit earlier, but it's like this, we're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. We're on concrete, we're on very hard surfaces.
Literally a rock.
Yeah, literally rock. So it's not ideal at all for our feet. So we do need some protection against this really hard surface, but we do want that protection to also be molded or fit a design so that our foot and ankle can move and load in the way that they're supposed to. And that's always going to be a little bit of a compromise situation, to where we're compromising protection for what the foot and ankle can do. A lot of people love those Hokas, which is basically like a cloud. You're running on pillows and clouds. But the more that we remove ourselves from the ground, the less sensation that we get. And the less sensation we get in our feet, the less we know how our feet are loading, where we're putting that pressure, either on the inside or on the outside, and what the foot is doing, instead of it just kind of being this, dull, cloudy sensation.
The feedback loop is missing a piece if you can't really feel the ground. And so I know for me, I could not feel, like I said earlier, that collapse, which maybe I didn't notice in my foot per se, but my hips were constantly a mess. Constantly dealing with hip problems just because I couldn't really tell what was happening. And so it's nice to just feel everything from the feet all the way up, and bringing it full circle.
This is Coach Bam and Coach Karlee. Take care of your feet and go get those miles in.